Welcome, star seekers, to Zodiac Signs TV, where the mysteries of the zodiac unfold like never before. Today, we dive into the shadows behind the signs, the selfishness hidden in their depths, the moments when love turns inward, and the hunger that drives their choices. From the quietly selfless to the fiercely self-centered, we will uncover the truth behind the zodiac's most selfish souls. If you're ready to face the raw, unfiltered essence of these signs, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us on this cosmic journey. Now, let's begin. With the sign that quietly puts loved ones first, even when it's their own heart they sometimes forget. Cancer. Cancer. The selfish guardian of hearts. Cancer is a paradox wrapped in tenderness and fierce protection. Their selfishness is not loud or brash, but a subtle, quiet force that lingers beneath the surface. They cradle those they love with hands so gentle, yet they often forget to cradle themselves. Their selfishness is the silent echo of survival, an instinct to preserve their own emotional shell while giving endlessly to others. They will sacrifice pieces of their soul to build a safe harbor for those they hold dear, even if it means neglecting their own needs. The crab's shell is both sanctuary and prison. Cancer hides inside, shielding their vulnerability from the world. And sometimes this shelter becomes so fortified that it locks them away from their own happiness. Their selfishness is woven in the fabric of their protective love. They want to control the safety of their circle, to ensure no harm reaches their fragile hearts. In doing so, they may push away those who long to get closer, unable to breach their emotional fortress. Yet this self-centeredness is born of fear of abandonment, rejection, and the crushing pain of loneliness. Cancer's selfishness whispers that in order to survive, they must cling fiercely to those they love, sometimes at the cost of suffocating them. They desire deep emotional connections, but struggle to balance their need for closeness with the space others require. This tension often reveals the darker side of their love, possessiveness disguised as devotion. Cancer's selfishness also manifests in emotional manipulation. They know the language of feeling so well that they sometimes wield tears and silence as tools to bend situations in their favor. It's not cruelty, but a desperate attempt to keep the emotional equilibrium tilted toward their safety. They want to be needed, to be the center of emotional gravity, because in that role, they feel most secure. Beneath their nurturing exterior lies a core that fears loss more than anything. When Cancer feels threatened, their selfishness flares. Like the sharp claws of the crab, defensive, unforgiving, and sometimes cold. They can retreat into bitterness and hold grudges longer than the tides, unwilling to forgive if they believe their heart was truly broken. But even in their selfish moments, Cancer is deeply sensitive. They absorb the energy around them, taking on others' pain as their own, and in doing so, they sometimes lose sight of their own needs. Their selfishness is tangled in self-preservation, but it also contains an ocean of unspoken longing for acceptance without conditions. Cancer's emotional world is a complex tide, at times nurturing, at times engulfing. Their selfishness is a tide that rises and falls, sometimes pulling others into their storm, sometimes leaving them stranded on distant shores. To understand Cancer's selfishness is to understand the push and pull of the moon, both illuminating and shadowing the night. In relationships, Cancer's selfishness can create a delicate dance. Their love is both gift and chain. They want to hold on tightly but must learn to let go, to trust that love can survive freedom. Until then, their selfishness whispers doubts, demanding reassurance in a voice thick with vulnerability. Cancer's selfishness is not a flaw to be condemned, but a survival mechanism shaped by emotional depths. They are warriors of the heart, fighting battles invisible to the eyes, and sometimes their greatest fight is with themselves. To love a Cancer is to hold a fragile, beautiful contradiction, one that craves both safety and space, devotion and independence. As we look deeper, we see Cancer's selfishness as a shadow cast by their immense capacity to care. They are the silent protectors of souls, sometimes losing themselves in the very act of guarding others. Their selfishness is the sorrow of giving too much without receiving enough. It is the silent scream of a heart too fragile to be broken again, the lingering pain of past wounds that shape their every move. And in that space between love and fear, Cancer dwells. Selfish, yes, but also profoundly human. Pisces, the selfless dreamers who often sacrifice for others. Pisces swims in the vast ocean of empathy, their souls tethered to the currents of others' emotions, often losing themselves in the tides of sacrifice. Their selfishness is hidden beneath layers of selflessness, a paradox of giving so much that they forget to refill their own wells. They are the dreamers who paint the world with compassion, but sometimes those dreams drown them in the sorrows and pains that are not theirs to carry. To call Pisces selfish would be to misunderstand the depths of their surrender. Their selfishness is cloaked in sacrifice. They prioritize others' happiness, sometimes at the expense of their own well-being. It is a quiet selfishness, born not of greed but of exhaustion, an unconscious depletion of self in the endless service of hearts around them. They give until there is nothing left, and often they do not ask for a single thing in return. But within this boundless generosity lies a shadow, a restless, aching void, where their own needs are neglected and silenced. Pisces can become lost in the role of savior, their identity tied to the pain they heal and the tears they wipe away. Their sacrifice can breed resentment, a quiet, simmering bitterness that no one sees because they never voice it. They carry the world on their shoulders, but who carries them? Their dreams are fragile castles built on clouds of hope and illusions, and sometimes selfishness seeps through these walls in the form of escapism. Pisces may withdraw into fantasy or addiction, seeking refuge from the harshness of reality and the emotional toll of their selflessness. This retreat can hurt those who love them, as Pisces disappears into realms only they can enter, leaving others grasping for a connection that seems just out of reach. The dark side of Pisces' selflessness is the danger of becoming a martyr, of giving endlessly to avoid confronting their own desires. They may stay in toxic relationships, sacrifice their ambitions, or lose themselves trying to fix what cannot be fixed. Their kindness can be weaponized by others, exploited by those who recognize their soft heart and boundless patience. Yet, despite this, Pisces remains one of the most forgiving signs, able to let go of grudges with the tide's ebb. Their selfishness, when it surfaces, is often a silent plea for recognition, a desire to be seen not just as the healer, but as a soul worthy of care and protection. They are vulnerable beings wrapped in a veil of compassion, longing to be rescued, as much as they rescue others. Their emotions flow like an endless river, carrying joy and sorrow in equal measure. Pisces' selfish moments emerge when this river floods, overwhelming their ability to care without becoming overwhelmed themselves. They may retreat into loneliness, guarding their broken pieces behind a mask of gentle smiles. But beneath this mask lies a fierce courage, the courage to feel everything deeply, to bear burdens invisible to the naked eye. Pisces' selfishness is a protective shell against the cruelty of a world that often misunderstands their softness as weakness. They hold on to dreams not just for themselves, but for those who cannot dream at all. In relationships, Pisces gives without limits, but they also crave a love that sees their true depth and accepts their shadows. When ignored or taken for granted, their selflessness turns inward, manifesting as silent withdrawal or passive despair. They may hide behind a facade of calm while their hearts bleed quietly. Pisces' connection to the mystical and the unseen grants them a unique insight into human frailty, but it also isolates them. Their selfishness can emerge in moments of desperation when their own needs are overshadowed by the emotional demands placed upon them. They struggle to say no, to protect their energy, fearing that selfishness means betrayal. Yet, to truly know, Pisces is to see their duality, the selfless dreamer and the weary soul longing for rest. Their selfishness is the shadow of their sacrifice, a reminder that even the kindest hearts need space to breathe and reclaim their light. In the quiet solitude where their dreams and fears collide, Pisces wrestles with the tension between giving and needing, between losing themselves and being found. Their selfishness, when embraced, becomes a source of healing, a necessary act of self-love that restores the balance they so desperately seek in the world. Pisces teaches us that selflessness, without boundaries, is a path to depletion, and that sometimes to love others fully, one must first love oneself fiercely. Their story is one of endless giving, but also of the quiet rebellion that rises when the dreamer dares to claim their own peace. Shu. Libra, the seeker of balance, who wrestles with shadows. Libra walks the tightrope between light and dark forever, seeking harmony in a world of chaos. Their heart beats for peace, their mind weighs every word, every action, searching for the perfect equilibrium. But beneath the graceful exterior lies a restless struggle, a constant battle between fairness and fear, between desire and doubt. They are the diplomats of the Zodiac, gifted with the rare ability to see all sides, to understand every perspective. This gift, however, can become a curse, for Libra's quest for balance often leaves them paralyzed, unable to act decisively when the scales tip dangerously. Their need to keep the peace can lead to silence in moments when a voice must be raised. Libra's selfishness is subtle, wrapped in the guise of fairness and compromise. They may sacrifice their own needs and truths to avoid conflict, to keep relationships smooth and unruffled. In doing so, they bury pieces of themselves deep beneath the veneer of charm and diplomacy, leaving their own desires unheard and unmet. Their world is one of delicate beauty and social grace, but the shadows of indecision and people-pleasing linger like a quiet storm. Libra fears the chaos that comes with confrontation, and sometimes, to preserve the illusion of peace, they betray their own authenticity. This silent betrayal is their heaviest burden. Yet, their heart is sincere. Their intention is to protect love and connection. When Libra chooses selfishness, it is often a protective act, choosing what feels easiest rather than what feels right. Their fear of being alone or rejected can drive them to make compromises that slowly erode their sense of self. In relationships, Libra is the peacemaker, the mediator, the one who smooths rough edges and bridges divides. But this role can trap them in a cage of their own making, where they lose sight of their own boundaries and needs. They may give endlessly to keep the balance, only to find their spirit quietly fraying at the edges. Libra's charm is intoxicating, their presence calming, yet underneath lurks a turmoil fusy. The more they try to please, the more they risk becoming a shadow of themselves, a version crafted to please others, rather than a true reflection of who they are. This dance of pleasing and hiding can leave them feeling hollow and unseen. The dark side of Libra is the avoidance of truth, the silence that comes from not wanting to rock the boat. This avoidance can cause hidden resentments to build, like a pressure cooker waiting to explode. Their smiles may mask storms of doubt and frustration that threaten to shatter the fragile peace they so desperately seek. Libra's mind is a labyrinth of what-ifs and maybes, where indecision reigns supreme. This mental maze is exhausting and isolating, pulling them away from action and into endless contemplation. Their selfish moments arise not from cruelty, but from a need to protect themselves from the chaos that their own choices might unleash. Yet, when Libra breaks free from the chains of fear and doubt, their selfishness transforms into strength. They learn to stand firm, to voice their truths, even if the scales tip unevenly. It is in these moments of courage that Libra shines brightest, becoming a true champion of justice, not just for others, but for themselves. They are artists of relationships, painters of connection, but even the most beautiful masterpiece contains shadows. Libra's challenge is to embrace these shadows without losing their light, to find balance not in perfection, but in authenticity. Their selfishness is often a quiet rebellion, a reclaiming of self in a world that demands compromise. It is the whisper that says, "I deserve to be seen, to be heard, to be loved for all that I am, not just the peace I bring." Libra's struggle is universal, the tension between connection and individuality, between love for others and love for self. Their journey is one of learning that true harmony begins within, when they honor their own needs as fiercely as they honor others. In the end, Libra teaches us that balance is not the absence of conflict, but the courage to face it honestly. Their selfishness, when embraced, becomes a vital force for growth, a necessary act of self-respect in the dance of life. They remind us that peace is not always quiet, that fairness sometimes demands fierce voices, and that the most beautiful harmony is born from the brave acceptance of both light and dark. Virgo, the silent servant. Wrestling with perfection's shadows, Virgo carries the weight of the world quietly on their shoulders, a tireless guardian who puts service before self, often invisible to the eyes that fail to see their sacrifice. Their loyalty is a silent current, beneath the surface, steady and unwavering, even when it goes unnoticed or unthanked. They are the unsung heroes who fix what is broken, who soothe what is wounded, without ever asking for applause. Yet, behind this quiet devotion is a fierce inner critic, an unrelenting judge who measures every action, every thought, with a razor-sharp precision that can cut deeply into Virgo's own soul. Their loyalty is entwined with an unyielding demand for perfection, not just in the world around them, but within themselves. This relentless striving can become a cage, imprisoning their true desires beneath layers of doubt and self-reproach. Virgo's selfishness is hidden, masked by a humility that often borders on self-neglect. They sacrifice their own needs with a quiet desperation, convinced that their value lies in their usefulness to others. This can lead to deep exhaustion, a soul worn thin from giving without receiving, from caring too much while hiding the pain behind a composed exterior. Their loyalty is tested not by grand gestures, but by the small moments, showing up when no one else does, offering help when it's inconvenient, staying steady when emotions run wild. Yet when Virgo's efforts go unrecognized, the seeds of resentment quietly take root. They carry these wounds silently, unwilling to burden others with their hurt, yet feeling the sting of invisibility like a shadow that never lifts. Virgo's heart is a paradox. They crave connection but fear vulnerability. Their intellect shields their emotions, turning every feeling into a problem to be solved rather than a pain to be felt. This detachment can make them seem cold or critical, but beneath the surface lies a tenderness so deep it threatens to drown them if it ever breaks free. Their loyalty is both their strength and their weakness. It binds them to those they love with invisible chains, but those chains can tighten until they suffocate the very spirit they strive to protect. Virgo's fear of imperfection extends to relationships, where they seek control as a defense against chaos, often pushing away those they most want to hold close. The dark side of Virgo reveals itself in their harsh self-judgment and relentless criticism of others. Their desire to fix can become an obsession to control, turning love into duty and care into a demand. This shadow can alienate even the closest souls, creating distance where intimacy yearns to grow. Virgo's selfish moments are rare but sharp, emerging when their patience finally breaks. In these flashes, their words can wound like blades, their disappointment a storm that leaves others reeling. Yet these moments are cries for help, a desperate attempt to reclaim a sense of self buried beneath endless giving. They are perfectionists not just in action but in thought, replaying conversations and mistakes with a merciless eye. This mental maelstrom is their prison, locking them in cycles of anxiety and guilt. Their loyalty to self-improvement can become an obsession that blinds them to the beauty of imperfection in themselves and others. Yet, Virgo's true power lies in their humility and resilience. They rise every day, ready to serve, to heal, to make right what feels wrong. Their loyalty is a quiet beacon that shines in the darkest nights, guiding lost souls back to shore. It is a love that endures beyond words, beyond recognition, beyond time. In the depths of their spirit, Virgo dreams of freedom, from the chains of perfection, from the endless cycle of self-criticism. Their journey is one of learning to embrace their flaws, to honor their own needs as fiercely as they honor others, and to find peace in the messy, beautiful imperfection of life. Their selfishness, when it surfaces, is a brave declaration of self-worth, a boundary drawn in the sand that says, "I matter too." It is a rebellion against the invisible burden they carry, a plea for space to simply be human. Virgo teaches us the sacred art of service, but warns of its cost when given without care for oneself. They remind us that loyalty is not sacrifice alone, but a balance between giving and receiving, between loving others and loving self. Their soul is a tapestry woven with threads of duty, love, doubt, and hope. In the silence of their sacrifice, they hold a fierce, quiet strength that few can see, but many desperately need. Capricorn, the relentless climber. Wrestling with ambition's dark edge, Capricorn moves through life like a mountain. Steady, towering, and unyielding. Their loyalty is forged in stone, a commitment as solid as the earth beneath their feet. When they pledge their trust, it is not lightly given nor easily broken. It is a bond that withstands time, trials, and tempests. They carry the weight of responsibility as both armor and burden, holding their circle close with a fierce dedication few can match. Yet beneath their stoic exterior lies a heart both ambitious and cautious, a soul that wrestles endlessly with the desire to rise and the fear of falling. Capricorn's loyalty is often measured by results and deeds rather than words or promises. They show love through actions, through the steadfast climb toward success, believing that providing stability is the greatest gift they can offer. This relentless drive to achieve can sometimes blind them to the softer needs of those they cherish. Their ambition, while admirable, casts long shadows, sometimes leaving loved ones feeling like mere spectators to a solitary ascent. Capricorn's greatest fear is failure, and this fear can harden their spirit, making them appear distant, cold, or unyielding. In their quest for control and order, Capricorns may sacrifice spontaneity and vulnerability. They guard their emotions behind layers of discipline, revealing their true selves only when the stakes are highest. This can make their loyalty seem conditional, dependent on the maintenance of respect and success rather than pure, unconditional love. The dark side of Capricorn reveals itself in moments of ruthless pragmatism. When cornered or betrayed, they can become calculating and unforgiving, wielding their power with precision. Their trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to regain. They do not forget, nor do they forgive easily, holding grudges like treasured relics from a battle long past. Capricorn's selfishness often wears the mask of necessity. They justify their singular focus on ambition as a sacrifice for the greater good, believing that their climb benefits not only themselves, but those who depend on them. Yet, this can leave a trail of emotional neglect and loneliness, a landscape barren despite the heights they conquer. Their loyalty is a double-edged sword, protective and unbreakable, but also suffocating and demanding. They expect the same level of dedication in return, and when it is lacking, disappointment festers like a slow poison. Capricorn's world is one of expectations, where love is earned through reliability and strength, not through words or sentiment. This need for control stems from a deep fear of chaos, of losing grip on the life they've so carefully constructed. Their ambition is fueled by a desire to build a legacy, to create a foundation that will outlast them. But this same drive can isolate them, turning loyalty into a transaction rather than a gift. In quiet moments, Capricorn wrestles with the cost of their climb. They wonder if the summit is worth the sacrifices made along the way, the friendships strained, the love withheld, the dreams deferred. Their ambition is a fire that warms but also burns, consuming both their light and their shadow. Capricorn's loyalty shines brightest in crisis, when their steady hand guides others through storms. They are the rock that does not crumble, the pillar that supports the roof when the winds howl outside. But their presence can also feel like a fortress, impenetrable, unyielding, and cold to those who seek warmth. Their selfishness is subtle, a quiet insistence on their own path that can leave others feeling sidelined. They may push away those who question their methods or slow their progress, valuing goals over feelings. This can breed resentment even if Capricorn rarely acknowledges it openly. Yet beneath this tough exterior beats a heart capable of profound love and sacrifice. When Capricorn chooses to open their guard, their loyalty becomes a powerful force, a commitment so fierce it defies logic and time. They will move mountains for those they hold dear, even if they never show the tenderness behind their actions. The true struggle for Capricorn is to balance ambition with empathy, to soften their edges without losing their strength. Their journey is one of learning to trust not only their goals, but also the messy, unpredictable nature of human connection. They remind us that loyalty is not just about achievement or protection, but about vulnerability and grace. To be loyal is to accept imperfection in ourselves and others, and to stand firm not only in success but in failure. Capricorn's soul is a tapestry of discipline and desire, of shadows cast by towering peaks and light found in the valleys below. Their loyalty is a mountain both awe-inspiring and daunting, challenging us to climb higher while never forgetting the ground beneath our feet. Taurus, the steadfast guardian of comfort and hidden depths. Taurus is the calm in the storm, the gentle earth beneath your restless feet. They value comfort, not just for themselves, but as a sanctuary they fiercely protect for those they love. Their loyalty is rooted in a desire to build a safe haven, a place where the heart can rest and the soul can breathe. When Taurus commits, it is with a quiet, unwavering devotion that rarely demands attention, but always guarantees presence. Yet beneath this serene exterior pulses a stubborn will of iron. Taurus does not bend easily. Their loyalty, once earned, is a fortress. But when broken, it can become an impenetrable wall of silence and withdrawal. They care deeply but expect to be valued in return, and if they feel betrayed, their hurt transforms into cold, silent retribution. Their love of comfort can sometimes blind them to the changes needed around them. Taurus prefers stability and routine, and this desire can make them resistant to growth or unpredictability, even when it threatens to suffocate their closest relationships. Their loyalty is a double-edged sword, as it anchors but can also chain. Relationships, Taurus is a patient nurturer, willing to weather storms for the sake of their tribe. They invest deeply, showing love through acts of care, material security, and steadfastness. However, their practical nature may sometimes overshadow emotional openness, making their affection feel measured or reserved. Taurus's greatest fear is loss, not just of possessions but of the people who matter. This fear can breed possessiveness and jealousy, dark shades in their otherwise gentle palette. When threatened, Taurus's loyalty can turn fierce, protective to the point of territorial obsession. Their stubbornness, often praised as strength, can become their undoing. In their refusal to let go, they may cling to toxic patterns or relationships far past the point of healing. This tenacity is admirable but also isolating, as Taurus can find themselves alone on their plateau of pride and pain. They are masters of endurance, but endurance without flexibility becomes rigidity. Taurus's loyalty is most tested when the winds of change blow strong. They prefer to hold on rather than release, making forgiveness a slow, arduous process. Beneath their calm surface lies a rich emotional world they rarely reveal. Taurus guards their vulnerabilities carefully, fearing that exposure might shatter the comfort they so painstakingly create. This concealment can make them appear distant, even when their heart beats fiercely for those they love. Their loyalty is both gift and burden, steadfast like the earth, yet stubborn like the unyielding rock. They build lives and relationships that promise safety but demand respect. When disrespected or betrayed, Taurus does not shout or storm. They retreat into silence, a quiet storm brewing beneath the surface. Despite their love for comfort, Taurus is no stranger to pain. Their resilience is born from surviving hardships they rarely voice aloud. This silent strength deepens their loyalty, making it a rare and precious treasure. They can be selfish in their pursuit of comfort, unwilling to sacrifice their peace for fleeting chaos. This self-preservation sometimes causes conflict with loved ones who crave spontaneity or change. Taurus must learn that true loyalty embraces growth, even when it disrupts ease. Their loyalty is a dance of patience and pride, a promise written in the language of consistency. They show love not in grand gestures but in daily devotion, a touch, a meal shared, a presence unshaken by time. Taurus's darker edges lie in their possessiveness, jealousy, and resistance to change, shadows that can cloud their otherwise warm heart. Yet even in their darkest moments, their loyalty remains, a beacon of steadfast love in a world of shifting sands. In the end, Taurus teaches us that loyalty is not about perfection or drama, but about showing up, standing firm, and creating a home for love to flourish. Leo, the radiant flame, that both warms and burns. Leo enters every room like the rising sun, a radiant presence impossible to ignore. Their loyalty blazes with the fire of their heart. Their selfishness is wrapped in a cloak of confidence, a desire to be the sun around which others orbit. When that light dims or is questioned, Leo's loyalty can falter, replaced by prideful withdrawal or fiery confrontation. Yet Leo's warmth is undeniable. Their presence ignites joy, their laughter fills rooms, and their passion fuels dreams. They inspire loyalty, not by obligation, but by the sheer force of their loving, burning spirit. They are protectors of the vulnerable, warriors in the face of injustice, and celebrators of life's brightest moments. Their loyalty is a dance of light and shadow, a balance of fierce pride and tender care. Leo teaches us that loyalty is about shining brightly while making room for others to shine as well. It's about courage, the courage to love openly, and the courage to face the shadows that come with the spotlight. In their most profound moments, Leo's loyalty is an offering of their whole self, a blazing gift that demands respect and returns devotion tenfold. To walk beside a Leo is to be bathed in the warmth of their unyielding flame. Sagittarius, the wild archer. Chasing freedom at any cost, Sagittarius is the eternal wanderer, a spirit untamed and restless. Their loyalty is a fiery arrow shot into the horizon, always aiming for freedom and truth beyond the visible. They love fiercely, but love through the lens of independence, sometimes at the expense of those who wish to hold them close. Their heart beats for adventure, and their soul thirsts for endless skies, making them unpredictable in devotion, but honest in intent. Freedom is their greatest gift and their greatest curse. Sagittarius cannot be chained or confined, and their loyalty is strongest when it aligns with their quest for authenticity and growth. Yet this same need can leave loved ones feeling abandoned or secondary, caught in the wake of Sagittarius's unending chase for horizons. They are generous to a fault, often giving without hesitation, but their generosity is fueled by a love of sharing experiences, not possession. This creates a paradox. Sagittarius wants to connect but fears the ties that bind, creating a dance of closeness and distance that confuses those who love them. Their honesty is brutal and refreshing, sometimes cutting deeper than intended. Sagittarius will speak truths that others hide, valuing freedom of expression above harmony. This can strain relationships, making their loyalty seem reckless or selfish to more sensitive souls. Beneath the jovial and optimistic exterior lies a deep-seated fear of being trapped or controlled. Sagittarius's loyalty is a promise of liberty, not ownership. They demand respect for their independence, and when that respect is lacking, their loyalty can evaporate like mist at dawn. They love fiercely but on their own terms. Their loyalty is a wild flame, lighting paths but never lingering too long in one place. To be loved by Sagittarius is to be invited on a journey that requires courage to accept both freedom and uncertainty. Sagittarius can be selfish, prioritizing their needs over others, not out of cruelty but survival. Their heart is big, but their mind is always seeking the next step, the next lesson, the next frontier. This restlessness can leave those close feeling sidelined or unvalued. Their loyalty can feel like a double-edged sword, full of passion but marked by inconsistency. When committed, Sagittarius is a fierce protector. When restless, they are a distant star, unreachable and wandering. They are seekers of truth and wisdom, often putting their ideals above personal ties. This quest can make them blind to the emotional needs of others, creating cracks in bonds built on mutual understanding. Sagittarius's love is like the wind, wild, refreshing, sometimes harsh. Their loyalty is a promise of honest adventure, but also a warning that freedom cannot be compromised. Their darkest moments come when their need for freedom clashes with the needs of those they love. In those moments, Sagittarius may seem cold or selfish, choosing the path of solitude over sacrifice. Yet their spirit remains untamed and beautiful, a reminder that loyalty does not always mean possession, and love can be an open road. In the Giyat-Sayath dance of relationships, Sagittarius is the wild step, unpredictable but honest. Their loyalty is a call to embrace both the joy of connection and the need for independence. They teach us that true loyalty respects freedom, and that love, to be real, must include space to grow and explore. Aquarius, the detached visionary. Who leads with the mind? Aquarius moves to the rhythm of their own electric pulse, a visionary detached from the tides of emotion that sway others. Their loyalty is a strange and complex thing, a fierce allegiance to ideals, principles, and the collective more than to individual hearts. They are the rebels, the revolutionaries, often prioritizing personal ideals above personal attachments. Their Detachment can be mistaken for coldness, but it is a shield against vulnerability. Aquarius's loyalty is cerebral rather than emotional, a commitment to truth and innovation that sometimes leaves their closest relationships feeling distant and abstract. They love deeply, but show it in unconventional ways, through acts of service, intellectual engagement, or championing causes. Yet this loyalty can feel impersonal, like a promise to an idea rather than a person, creating emotional gaps that others struggle to bridge. Aquarius prizes honesty and expects the same from those around them, even if it means discomfort or conflict. Their loyalty to truth is absolute, and they can be ruthless in exposing falsehoods, sometimes at the expense of harmony. Their independence is their fortress and their prison. Aquarius values freedom fiercely and resents any attempt to constrain their thoughts or actions. This can make their loyalty seem conditional, given only so long as it does not infringe on their autonomy. They are visionaries who see the world in broad strokes, often missing the finer emotional details. This big-picture thinking is a strength, but also a barrier to intimate connection. Aquarius can be detached to the point of emotional aloofness. Their loyalty is often expressed in the service of a greater good, fighting for justice, innovation, and progress. They believe that true loyalty transcends personal bonds and embraces humanity as a whole. Yet beneath this grand vision lies a loneliness few perceive. Aquarius fears emotional dependency, and their loyalty is a way to keep others at a safe distance, while still making a difference. Their greatest challenge is balancing their need for independence with the human desire for closeness. When they fail, their loyalty can fracture, leaving loved ones feeling abandoned or undervalued. Aquarius's selfishness is intellectual. They prioritize ideas and ideals over personal feelings, sometimes forgetting the emotional cost to themselves and others. They are fiercely loyal to their beliefs, sometimes at the expense of personal relationships. This can make them seem unyielding or detached, cold in their pursuit of progress. Yet, their vision and loyalty inspire movements and change, shaping futures in ways few others dare to imagine. Aquarius teaches us that loyalty can be revolutionary, a force that challenges the status quo and pushes humanity forward. Even if it means breaking traditional bonds, their loyalty is a beacon for those who seek freedom, truth, and innovation, a call to love beyond the personal and embrace the universal. Gemini, the enigmatic twin, charming yet self-prioritizing Gemini, is the eternal paradox, a dual soul forever dancing between worlds, ideas, and emotions. Their charm is undeniable, a sparkling wit, a nimble mind, a playful heart that draws others like moths to a flame. Yet beneath that dazzling surface lies a restless spirit that often puts their own needs and desires before those they claim to care for. Their loyalty is fluid, shifting with their moods and changing tides. They are masters of communication, weaving words into webs of connection and intrigue. But this gift can sometimes mask a deeper self-focus, a tendency to prioritize personal freedom and curiosity over the steady demands of relationships. Gemini's heart may wander even as they smile and engage, their loyalty tested by the endless pull of novelty. Their selfishness isn't cruel, but born of a restless hunger for experience and knowledge. They crave variety, stimulation, and mental engagement, which can lead them to neglect the emotional landscapes of those who seek their steady presence. Gemini is not cruel, but inconsistent. Their loyalties flicker like a candle's flame in the wind, bright one moment, elusive the next. This unpredictability can hurt deeply those who desire more constancy and depth. They are quick learners, able to adapt and reinvent themselves, but this also means they can sometimes abandon commitments when something new catches their attention. Their heart is easily distracted, and their mind always searching for the next challenge or story. Their charm can disarm even the most guarded souls, but it can also be a veil hiding insecurities, a fear of being trapped or labeled, pushing them to put themselves first to protect their sense of freedom. Gemini's selfishness often manifests as emotional flightiness, avoiding deep confrontations or obligations that threaten their autonomy. They may love, but on their own terms and with boundaries that can feel impenetrable to others. They are lovers of ideas, not always people, and their loyalty is strongest when stimulated intellectually. When the spark fades, so can their dedication, leaving behind echoes of excitement but little permanence. Yet, beneath this restless exterior, Gemini longs for understanding and acceptance, if only they can be held without demands or chains. Their selfishness is a defense mechanism, guarding a heart that fears being overwhelmed. They are the quicksilver spirits, brilliant, unpredictable, and sometimes frustrating. Their loyalty is a dance, sometimes fleeting, sometimes lasting, but always moving. Gemini teaches us that self-prioritization can be both a survival skill and a challenge for connection, reminding us to cherish their light without expecting them to stay still. Their selfishness is not born of malice, but of a deep need to explore and evolve, often at the expense of others' feelings. They are the voices in the wind, beautiful and elusive, loyal when they can be, and free when they must. Aries, the bold fire starter, desire before all. Else Aries storms through life like a blazing comet, bold, fierce, and unrelenting. Their energy is electric, their will unbreakable, but their loyalty is often secondary to their burning desires. Aries places their own needs and ambitions above all else, driven by a primal urge to conquer, to lead, to be first. This self-focus can scorch the hearts of those who hope for steadiness and mutual devotion. They are warriors of passion and impulse, acting before thinking, loving with a fire that can both warm and burn. Their selfishness is raw and unapologetic, a force of nature that refuses to be tamed or delayed. Aries' loyalty is a battle standard, waved fiercely when it suits their purpose, but dropped without hesitation when their path demands it. They are not cruel, but relentless in their pursuit of personal victory, often leaving collateral damage in their wake. They live in the moment, guided by instinct and desire rather than reflection or compromise. This immediacy makes their loyalty unpredictable and volatile, a storm that can rage with intensity or vanish just as fast. Aries' selfishness is not always visible. It can be masked by charisma and courage, but beneath lies a deep hunger for recognition and control. They want to be the hero of their own story, sometimes at the expense of others' needs. Their love is fierce and all-consuming, but also fiercely independent. They resist anything that threatens their freedom, and their loyalty can falter if they feel confined or misunderstood. They are leaders by nature, charging into battles with a roar, but their selfishness can alienate allies who desire more equal footing or emotional reciprocity. Aries can be quick to forgive, but also quick to forget, prioritizing their own healing and advancement over lingering loyalties. Their selfishness is a double-edged sword, fueling their drive and ambition, but wounding relationships with its blunt force. Yet beneath the fire lies a vulnerable heart that craves respect and validation, often expressed through bold action rather than words. They teach us that loyalty is a choice, and for Aries, it is often a battle between desire and duty. Their selfishness challenges those around them to keep pace or step aside, living life on their terms. Aries is a blazing trail, loyal when it suits their spirit, and fiercely self-driven above all. Scorpio, the Shadow King, intensely self-focused and unyielding. Scorpio is the ultimate enigma, a creature of shadow and flame, fierce loyalty and ruthless self-preservation intertwined like venom and antidote. Their soul burns with an intensity few can endure, a fire that consumes and transforms everything it touches. Scorpio's selfishness is not careless or casual. It is calculated, deliberate, and absolute, a force wielded to claim what they desire most fiercely. They move through the world with laser focus, unshaken by distractions, unwavering in pursuit of their goals. When Scorpio sets their eyes on something, whether love, power, revenge, or truth, they will not rest until they have it, regardless of the cost to others or themselves. This relentless self-focus is their survival mechanism, born from the depths of emotional wounds that have forged their steel resolve. They protect their vulnerability behind walls of mystery and control, willing to sacrifice all else to guard their inner sanctum. Scorpio's selfishness is not mere indulgence, but a profound assertion of self-worth and sovereignty. They believe in owning their power fully and refusing to be diminished or controlled. Their loyalty is a fortress, granted only to the worthy and guarded with deadly precision. They love deeply but on their own terms, often demanding absolute honesty, and unwavering devotion, yet showing little mercy to those who falter. Their heart is both a sanctuary and a battlefield, where trust is earned in blood and betrayal punished without mercy. Scorpio's ability to wield emotional manipulation and strategic cunning can be terrifying as they turn the tides of situations to their favor, leaving others awed or broken in their wake. Their selfishness wears the guise of strength, but beneath lies a soul fiercely afraid of losing control or being exposed. They are the masters of reinvention, rising from ashes of their own destruction like phoenixes, shaped by pain and empowered by solitude. Their selfishness is survival, their self-focus a shield against a world that often misunderstands their depths. Scorpio's passions run dark and deep, and when crossed, they do not forget. Their vengeance is methodical and consuming, an echo of their profound sense of justice twisted by wounds. To cross a Scorpio is to awaken a storm that cares not whom it shatters. Yet their selfishness is balanced by moments of unexpected tenderness. When Scorpio chooses to lower their guard, the love they offer is fierce, protective, and eternal. But such gifts are rare, reserved for those who survive their intense scrutiny. They challenge those around them to be equally strong, to face their own shadows, or be cast aside. Scorpio's selfishness demands respect, not just for themselves, but for the complexity of emotions that define their existence. They teach us that self-preservation is a raw, unyielding force, sometimes necessary to protect the most sacred parts of our souls. Their selfishness is both armor and weapon, a reminder that survival often requires ferocity. Scorpio does not apologize for their intensity. They embrace it as their truth, their power, their destiny. They take what they want, guard it fiercely, and leave a legacy that lingers long after they have moved on. Their selfishness is a dance on the edge of darkness and light, a testament to the strength it takes to be fully oneself in a world that demands compromise. They are the Zodiac's most profound reminder that sometimes, to survive and thrive, we must first claim ourselves with uncompromising passion. Thank you for joining Zodiac Signs TV as we unveiled the shadows and truths behind the Zodiac's most selfish souls. If this journey into the depths of astrology moved you, don't forget to like, comment your own experiences, and subscribe for more powerful insights. Hit the bell to stay connected and explore our other videos where the stars reveal even more secrets about your inner universe. Until next time, keep shining fiercely, just like the stars you are.